Good evening, and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Let me introduce some members of town government that assist this board. To my left is Simone Bogarty, Assistant Town Attorney. To her left is Blaise Donadio, Planner in the Planning Department. We are all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you are requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide this board with precise and accurate information so we can make a decision based on the facts presented. This board must consider the 5 variant considerations in order to render a decision. They are as follows. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. Whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Procedures for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. When you are called, please present your certificates for postings and mailings to Mr. Donadio. Then you will be asked to go to the podium where you'll state your name and address for the record, and then proceed to tell us why you need your variance. At the end of your presentation, if anyone in the audience would like to speak on your case, they will be given one opportunity to do so. Then the applicant can come back to the podium to answer their concerns. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. There are 2 ways to find out about your case. You can call the planning office tomorrow after 12 p.m., or you can wait and be notified by mail. We do have 3 adjournments tonight. The first adjournment is case number 19011, Callahan. Anybody here for that case? That case has been adjourned to November 14th. Okay. The next case is case 19014, Robert Stricker. Anyone here for that case? That case has been adjourned to December 12th. And we do have another case, case number 19017, Stella Samanda and Roman Mushkikov. I'm just waiting for the lawyer to give me a date. So once he comes in, I'll let everyone know. But is there anyone here for that case? No? I don't know where he is.
He had walked in earlier, but when we were speaking, he walked in.
Yeah.
See if I can find him.
What's it? Okay.
You want to wait a minute?
Having a hard time with your mic, too, huh? You're having a hard time with your mic.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you? Did Winselberg call you? I told him I couldn't speak.
Nah, he was all right.
What else going on? Anything?
November 14th? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that was case 19017, Stella Samander and Roman Mushnikov. That has been adjourned to November 14th.
All set?
Yep.
Okay. The first case on the agenda, case number 19012, Richard and Kathleen Calderola, 78 Tillotson Avenue, St. James. The location of the property is the southwest corner of Tillotson Avenue and Remsen Street. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance, thank you, to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 25 feet to 0 for an existing 6-foot PVC fence.
Good evening.
Good evening. Rich Calderola, 78 Tillotson Avenue, St. James. The reason we're asking for this variance is for a couple of purposes. One is from a visual perspective. We have a permanent trailer that we look at from the front of our house, and this helps block the view of that. Also, on a school building, there are also gas pipes and utility pipes that this help blocks out. And we also have a dumpster that this helps block the view of. In addition, from an audio perspective, there is a carillon that's been mounted on the school building roof with speaker aimed directly at our house. So we're looking to get a little bit of audio relief from that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thanks.
Planning.
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
Mr. Chairman, town records do indicate that a 6-foot fence from the parcel was installed on town property along Tillotson Avenue without a permit. DEW recommends the removal or legalization of these encroachments.
Environment saying that the fence was installed without permits. It's on
Well,
town property.
No, it's not on the town property. The fence in question is not on the town property. The question I'm sorry, Kathleen Calderola, 78 Tillotson Avenue. The fence in question that we're here for is on our property.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
This
well,
is the other fence that's along Tillotson Avenue. Town records show that it is on town property. I'm just bringing up to the board's attention. Separate from, yes. it's-
Separate from our case.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's still part of your property or on your property.
Correct. It's
Right.
attached, right,
Correct.
right. So the 22 or whatever foot that we're here for is on our property.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it. Get that Blaze, I'll catch up.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19013, Ralph Ciccarelli, 91 Gibbs Pond Road, Nesconset. The location of the property is the east side of Gibbs Pond Road, 139 feet south of Sarah Court. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 16 feet to 1 foot, to reduce the total side yards from 34 feet to 21 feet, for an existing 168 square foot outdoor kitchen.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ralph Ciccarelli, 91 Gibbs Pond Road. And I used to have a deck a few years ago and put in pavers, and then after I did the pavers, I decided to put a kitchen outside. Wasn't aware that I needed a variance, so I'm here today to just get the variance approved for my outdoor kitchen now.
That kitchen, is that total gas?
Yes, it's gas.
It's all
hookup.
gas.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Nothing? Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next case on the agenda is case number 19015, Jingao 2, 198 Northern Boulevard, St. James. The location of the property is the northwest corner of Northern Boulevard and Cleveland Street. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard setback on Cleveland Street from 40 feet to 26 feet for an existing 45-square-foot enclosed outside basement entrance. To reduce the minimum front yard setback on Cleveland Street from 40 feet to 34 feet for an existing 394-square-foot one-story addition. To reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 7 for an existing 35-square-foot deck. To reduce the setback from a rear lot line from 6 feet to 0 for an existing 92-square-foot shed.
Hi, good evening.
Your name
My name is Jingo Zhu.
and your address.
Address?
It's 198 Northern Boulevard.
We'd like this young lady to speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Roxanne Trella, Dynamic Expediting Services, with offices at 1040 Terry Road, Ronkonkoma, New York.
Can you just spell your last name so we get it correct on the record, please?
Sure, it's Trela. Okay, so we're here today for a reduced minimum front yard from 40 feet to 26 feet. This is on the second front on Cleveland Street for the enclosed cellar entrance. It's a minimal cellar entrance, 5 by 8. It's been there for about 10 years. And the cellar entrance was always there, it was just enclosed about 10 years ago. We're also here for a reduced minimum front yard from 40 feet to 34 feet. Again, this is the second front on Cleveland Street. This is for the rear addition. The house was enlarged by about 13 feet to the rear, and that enlargement of the house was to make the kitchen bigger. They did stay in line with the existing dwelling. And the house itself is shifted all the way over to the other side of the property. And like I said, they did stay in line with the existing dwelling. And this addition has been there for about 20 years. We're also here for a reduced minimum side yard from 12 feet to 7 feet. It's about 7.5 feet, actually. This is for the side deck. It's a small deck. It's 4 by 7. It's a side entrance to the kitchen area of the home. It's been there for about 20 years. And this side yard on this side of the house actually only maintains 12.4 feet. So anything placed on that side of the property would require some sort of a variance. The other variance we're here for is for the shed. It's a small shed. It's 8.4 by 10.9. It's been there for about 15 years, and that is a rear minimum setbacks from 6 feet to 0 feet, and it's about 0.7 feet, actually. You're welcome.
Two driveways? You have a driveway, I guess that's your main driveway off of Northern Boulevard? And then you have a dirt driveway off of Cleveland?
They don't use the dirt driveway. It was there. He just purchased the property earlier this year. All of these improvements were made by the previous homeowner, but they are keeping that fence closed on Cleveland Street and not using a second driveway.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thanks.
Planning,
No, thank you.
Sabrina.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, the current application to legalize 6 bedrooms requires approval from the Department of Health. We have notified the applicant's representative of their need to contact the Health Department. The survey submitted by the applicant also indicates the following encroachments. The existing wood fence along Cleveland Street encroaches up to 1.1 feet onto the right-of-way to the north. The existing rear PVC fence encroaches up to 5.2 feet onto the residential parcel to the west, and the existing side wood fence encroaches up to 0.5 feet onto the residential parcel to the south. We recommend the removal or legalizations of these encroachments. Therefore, no decision will be made tonight on this application.
You understand?
Yes, we have actually submitted a plot plan to have the fences put onto the property line so that they don't encroach off of the property, and we have contacted an engineer to start the Board of Health process.
Okay. And also the Health Department.
Yes, we contacted an engineer.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Motion's been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19016, Ford's Garage SH LLC, 355 Smith Haven Mall, Lake Grove. The location of the property, the north side of Middle Country Road, 2,176 feet east of Alexander Avenue. The property is owned SCB. The applicant is requesting a special exception to permit outdoor dining, a variance of a special exception standard to reduce the setback of outdoor dining to the curb from 40 feet to 16 feet for the west curb, a variance of a special exception standard to permit the maximum height of walls to be greater than 4 feet for vinyl roll-down walls, a variance of a special exception standard to permit outdoor dining year-round and permit furniture outdoors from October 1st to April 1st. Variance to reduce the minimum parking from 3,197 to 2,636 spaces. To increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 21 feet for signs 1, 2, and 6. To increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 19 feet for signs 3 and 4. To permit Ford's Garage to have 4 ground signs for signs 7, 8, 9, and 10, to increase the number of wall signs from a maximum of 1 to 6 for sign numbers 1 through 6.
Good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have a thing what the signs look like?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. William Benesso for Chelly Deegan Tirana, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, here on behalf of the applicant, Ford's Garage SH LLC. As noted by Mr. Donadio, this is an application pertaining to the Smith Haven Mall, situated in the SCB zoning district. The proposal is to replace 2 food uses, a wine bar and a burger restaurant, with a new Ford's Garage restaurant. Ford's Garage is new to Long Island. In fact, I believe this is going to be the first Ford's Garage in New York State. The restaurant started in Florida, opened in 2012 in Fort Myers, Florida, and since then, quite a few have been developed in Florida. They're also in Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, and Texas. And like I said, this is going to be the first one, certainly on Long Island, and I believe in the state as well. It is an automotive-themed restaurant. It's a burger and brew restaurant. It will have a full-service bar. It does provide sit-down dining, and there is takeout available, takeout ordering available, but it's sit-down dining, burgers, chicken sandwiches, appetizers, salads, related type menu items. They are actually licensed by the Ford Motor Company, because of that, they are able to use the Ford logo and a lot of Ford memorabilia and products in their decor, in their marketing and advertising, and in their promotions. They kind of base the look of the dining room on a vintage 1920s service station. The service providers are dressed in vintage service station outfits, and the decor is really quite interesting. The also, as you, is one of the forms of relief that we need. Outside of their restaurant, they have 2 vintage cars and a set of vintage faux gasoline pumps. Certainly no gas in them, but faux gasoline pumps, just to give it the feel that they're looking for. So far, it's been a very successful enterprise in the states that they're in, and they expect to do quite well here in Smith Haven as well. As this board is well aware, malls have been changing over the years with the rise of online shopping, and then further impacted by the pandemic. The malls have had to diversify a bit, so they've gone for more experiential uses included in amongst the retail and other services that they provide. This is just another step in that direction. But it is a full-service restaurant, and we think it'll be quite successful. In order to introduce it, however, we do need relief. We need a special exception, as noted by Mr. Donadio, for an outdoor dining area, and then we need some variance relief from that, from the special exception requirements. We need a technical parking variance, and we also need sign variances. With regard to the outdoor dining, we are asking for the special exception for outdoor dining. However, just recently, I advised Mr. Donadio that we would forego the originally filed and request that it be year-round dining, outdoor dining. We will agree to the standard condition that it be seasonal, starting from April 1st, going to October 31st, and as such, we would withdraw the request for relief in that regard. We would further withdraw the request for relief from the requirement that the furniture be stored indoors when the season ends. We were originally going to have it open year-round, but now that we're going to do away with that, we will store the furniture, so we're not asking for relief from that. We are, however, asking for relief from the special exception requirements in the form of the requirement that says that nothing will enclose the outdoor dining area at a height greater than 4 feet from the floor. We are proposing to still have roll-down vinyl shades that'll come down, but we are seeking only to use them when we have inclement weather at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, and if there's heavy rains or winds during the season. So they would come down to the height of the railing. Below the railing is all open, so they don't fully enclose the outdoor dining area. And we would agree to a condition, certainly, that they be permitted to be in use only during the seasonal outdoor dining period. And frankly, with the furniture being removed after October 31st and not coming back until April 1st, there would be no reason to use it in those off-season times anyway. So that's the relief we're asking for with regard to that condition. We are also asking for relief from the 40-foot setback requirement for the outdoor dining area from the curb that is required for the SCB district. It's not uncommon, as noted in the planning advisory report, that relief has been granted to other restaurants with outdoor dining in the mall. The parking variance we need is frankly a one-space parking variance. There has been a parking variance in place at the mall for quite some time. However, the site development here is eliminating one existing parking space on site because of a refrigeration unit, and that reduction in the available parking requires us to request the parking variance, but it is literally a one-space parking variance for the use of the restaurant. The rest of the relief pertains to signage, as Mr. Donadio noted. We have 6 proposed wall signs. They will be higher than the 15 feet permitted. Again, not that uncommon in the mall area and also in other places in the town, like the Mayfair Shopping Center, which I grew up near. Also, the number of wall signs is not permitted. We're requesting 6. However, 1 is permitted. But it is important to note, and again, this was in the Planning Advisory Report, the total square footage of our wall signage is actually 10 feet less than would be permitted if we had 1 sign at the permitted amount of, I think it was 204 square feet, and we're proposing 194 square feet. So the total square footage of the 6 signs is less than that which would be as of right for 1 wall sign. So the impact from a coverage standpoint is nothing, so to speak. And then there's the signage, quote unquote, that is to cover the 2 vintage cars and the gasoline pumps, the faux gasoline pumps. The planning department has basically labeled that as signage. They're really basically sculptures or decor that is outside that, again, lends a feel to the restaurant. It goes along with their theme. It catches the eye. It brings attention to the restaurant and will help promote the restaurant. So I believe those are all the items that we are requiring relief from. We do have a representative from our site engineering firm, Bowler Engineering, here, who can speak specifically to any questions that the board may have. We also had a representative from Ford's Garage on his way here, but he's fighting traffic coming from Brooklyn. And when I spoke to him at about 5:30, he was still a ways away. So he was planning on getting here by 7, based upon what his GPS was telling him. I said, well, we may be still waiting, but then we had 3 cases adjourned tonight, so here we are. But anyway, just so that the board knows, he was prepared. He was coming and is in fact still coming, and would have been prepared to provide answer any questions pertaining to the restaurant that the board may have. But that's our direct presentation. We fully agree with the recommendations contained in the Planning Advisory Report. I thought it was very thoughtfully created, and we would totally support the board's approvals and approvals with conditions based upon the Planning Advisory Report.
I'm just looking at your rendering. Are those planter boxes?
Actually, these are the vehicles. This is a retro decorative car.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
You can take the mic with you,
Oh, right, microphone, sorry.
please.
I'm just talking about the green.
The green.
Right.
Oh, yes, those are planters. Those are heavy planters which provide protection.
Protection for the.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, fine, that's why. That was my question. Thank you. Anyone on the board have questions on this application? No. Planning.
Mr. Chairman, everybody received a copy of the Planning Advisory Report based on our review of the submitted application and the revisions submitted to us by Mr. Benesso. We recommended approval of the application.
Okay, thank you. Sabrina?
Mr. Chairman, our department wishes to take into consideration any comments presented by the applicant, as well as any from the public, before we make a recommendation to the board, so no decision will be made tonight on this application.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application?
So moved.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Quite welcome. And that concludes our meeting for tonight.